What's up guys, MegaDPAL here, and I'm bringing another Pokemon X and Pokemon Y Wi-Fi back for you guys today. So today we're against Dillon, aka SandShrewed1, a good friend of mine, and this is a battle we had a while back, but it's a pretty good battle. So if you guys do enjoy, be sure to leave a like and help me reach my like goal, which is down in the description bar below. And I'd just like to thank you for everyone who's shown me support on all my other videos, helping me reach that like goal. The support is very much cherished and I appreciate it a lot. So looking at team preview, I'm running the same team I ran a while back, not a while back, but a few videos ago with my SandShrewed1 team. And my opponent's running a decent looking team. He's running Nidoking, isn't as common in OU, but can still be very versatile, can run a Scarf set, or in my opinion, the better set, the Live Form Sheer Force set. He also has a Mega Manetric, which occasionally pops into OU every now and then and is actually viable. And also, he does in fact have a Hydreigon right at the back there, which is also rather versatile, can be a Specs, Scarf, or even Expert Belt. And I actually made a huge mistake on one of my Pokemon, which I'll explain a little bit later in the battle for you guys. But either way, let's just get straight onto it, shall we? So I'm going to start it out with my Landorus team, because I'm in fact Choice Scarf Landorus. As you guys will know if you have watched my previous video with this team, he's actually decided to lead off with his Hydreigon. This is fine. What I'm going to do is just go for that U-turn turn 1 because it is my safest play. If he does stay in, he'll obviously take a huge chunk of damage from the U-turn. And if he switches, I will obviously get the initiative and the momentum early on, which is key. He does decide to switch, predicting the U-turn, going straight onto his Nidoking, which is a good play on his part. But like I said, this does give me initiative, and I'm going to decide to go out into my Keldeo. And I'm Choice Specs Keldeo. What I'm going to do is go straight for Ice Wind, because I thought the Choice Specs Ice Wind would take it out from this range, but it doesn't. And I thought it was my safest play on the off chance he did in fact want to switch and preserve his Nidoking. But that's not going to be the case, as he does in fact live. Vitalik's back with a Sludge Wave, which does a whole lot of damage, but the secondary Ice Wind will be more than enough to take out this Nidoking, which is good for me. However, this will give him a free switch into his Manetric, where he can Mega Evolve and just go straight for that Volt Switch to try and revenge kill me. However, I do have a great pivot switch for this Manetric in the form of my SandShrewed1. As the only real thing a Manetric can touch his thing with is in fact HP Ice, and I believe it is in fact a free hit KO, so that's fine. I know I'm confident in going into this and forcing a lot of offensive pressure onto my opponent, as he is just going to go straight for that Volt Switch, giving him the initiative now. And I believe he's going to go out into his Dragonite. I'm going to make a little bit of a bad play and a risky play. What I'm going to do is expect him to go for that Dragon Dance, and I want to break this thing's multi scale because Dragonite is a huge threat to my team. So I'm just going to go straight for that Draco. But he makes a smart play, the safe play, and just go straight for that Dragon Claw and takes me out. I'm actually going to go out into my Rotom Wash now, and I'm just going to go straight for that safe Will-O-Wisp, because regardless if he wants to switch on it out into his Hydreigon, the residual damage, nothing will appreciate the residual damage racking up each turn. So that's nice for me. And I do land the Will-O-Wisp on this thing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decide to switch, go into my special defensive Heatran, because naturally it is the best thing to take on this Hydreigon 101, predicting that Draco Meteor. And as you are going to see, based off this damage, I'm pretty sure this is in fact a Choice Specs Hydreigon, and I'm actually leading to believe it's in fact Modest Specs, just based off how much that did to my fully special offensive Heatran. This is fine. I can use this time to try and get on my rocks, which is important for his Dragonite. Like I did mention previously, I do want to break that thing's multi-scale. He does have a Mandibuzz on his team, which obviously runs Defog, but I can play around that and obviously try and take this thing out as soon as possible so I can start to set up my rocks later on. As I've actually sped up at this point, because it does get a little bit stolid with the Mandibuzz out. He goes for Taunt, predicting my Toxic, which would have been a nice play had I been running Toxic. But unfortunately for him, I'm not on this Heatran. I'm just going to go straight for that Lava Plume. Now expecting him to go for the Defog, I'm going to make the switch, go out into my Rotom, try and force more offensive pressure onto my opponent. He does just go for that Defog, gets rid of those rocks. And now I'm obviously going to go straight for that safe Volt Switch. Actually decides to stay in. I didn't think he would. I thought he would switch on out of there. This is fine, as I'm actually predicting to go for Roost. So I'm going to go into my Landorus T just to revenge kill this thing. Where he actually goes for Foul Play. It does a whole lot of damage because it scores a crit. And this crit could potentially be crucial. But what I'm going to do now is just go for that Stone Edge. But unfortunately that miss, as he in fact goes for Roost this time. And this is bad for me, as I'm pretty sure I can't take it out. And Landorus is one of my win conditions, because it's one of the only thing on my team now I have to check his Mega Manetric. Seems I did lose my SandShrewed1. So I'm going to be forced to switch, go out into my Rotom, where he gets a secondary crit. 2 crits and a miss. A little unfortunate for me. And this Mandibuzz has become a huge problem to my team now. I'm just going to go for that Hydro Pump. I need to get as much damage on this thing as possible. Is it just going to fact Roost up? Maybe predicting the Volt Switch. So what I'm going to do now is just go straight for the Will-O-Wisp this turn. as he's actually going to go for the taunt. I just outspeed and land the Will-O-Wisp because the taunt was a bad play because the Rotom Wash naturally has higher base speed than Mandibles, and Mandibles don't generally run any speed investment. So the residual damage each turn negating his leftovers recovery and him losing 6% each turn is going to be very nice for me. I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch now as he actually decides to Roost. And what I need to do is just basically force this thing to go for the taunt on my Heatran and try and get as much damage on my on this Mandibles with the burn and the Lava Plume as much as I can, to the point where I hopefully can take it out with a Lava Plume if he keeps going for the taunt. So I actually go for Lava Plume, do a whole lot of damage because I get the crit. Definitely makes up for his 2 crits and the Stone Edge miss. So this is nice for me. And what he's going to do now is continually spam Roost, try and recover up, as I'm just going to keep persisting to go for the Lava Plume. It is my best option at this point because, like I said, I need to keep doing damage to this thing to where hopefully a second Lava Plume will take it out when he goes for taunt, trying to stop me from setting on my rocks. But he knows this and is actually going to decide to switch, go straight onto his Hydreigon. This is fine just because Heatran is the best thing I have to take on Hydreigon, like I mentioned earlier. So I can use this time to scout, see if he's running the Focus Blast and try and set on my rocks. So that's the plan. I'm just going to go for the Protect this following turn because I want to see what he locks himself into, because we have established his fact specs. And I want to scout, see if he is in fact running the Focus Blast. He actually goes for Dark Pulse, either predicting switch or he's not running Focus Blast. So this is fine. I know I can eat up Dark Pulse reasonably well, so I'm just going to use this time to set up my rocks. And what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to make a really bad play, as my obvious Protect is super obvious, and he knows that, and he's going to actually make a switch the following turn into his Mandibles. What I should have done was just go straight for that Lava Plume, but I don't. I just make the safe play, trying to rack up some burn and get some lefties back, and he predicts that very nicely and goes out into his Mandibles, enable him to start to stall and recover up a little bit more, Roost up a little bit more, which is exactly what he's going to do, as I'm once again going to persist to go for a Lava Plume. However, I do know that even if he does defog, he will be forced to taunt if he wants to prevent me from setting on my rocks again. So what I'm going to do is in fact go out into my Landorus now, expecting the defog and or Roost again. If he does go for that defog, making the better play, obviously getting rid of the rocks for the likes of his Dragonite, knowing that thing is a problem to my team. And it did manage to dodge my Stone Edge earlier, but it's not going to be able to prevent its death now. Going to go straight down to that U-turn. Finally down goes the Mandibles, which is great for me. And now I'm going to go out into my Keldeo. As he goes out into his Mega Magnetric, I'm going to be forced to sack Keldeo at this point, just because I don't have anything that really wants to switch into my into this Mega Magnetric. I do obviously have a Heatran, but I don't want him to go out into his Dragonite, potentially start setting up. So I'm going to be forced to sack Keldeo at this point and try and get a free switch back into my Landorus. He's actually going to go out into his Greninja, which is fine for me. Gives me a free switch into my Landorus, like I did just mention. And what I'm going to do is expect him to either sack his Hydreigon or try and dodge the EQ and see what I lock myself into by going into his Hydreigon. So what I'm going to do is go straight for that safe U-turn, just take this thing out, which is great for me. So down goes that thing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to try and bait in his Dragonite, because I need to try and break that multi-scale. So I'm going to go out to my own Dragonite, in fact, and I didn't want to start setting up Dragon Dances, because it would basically come down to a whole lot of 50-50s, a whole lot of speed ties. So and with my luck, I'm not really willing to risk that, so I'm just going to go straight for the Outrage, just hit this thing up, break this multi-scale, do a whole lot of damage. He's actually revealing the Weakness Policy, so he's the same set as my Dragonite, Weakness Policy, DD, Dragonite, which is nice. And now he's going to be able to outspeed because of the +1, take me out with a +3 super effective Dragon Claw. And what I'm going to do now is go out into my Landorus. I need to scout at this point for the E-Speed and get off the Intimidate, bring him down to +2. I'm just going to go out into my Rotom Wash now, like I said, scouting for the E-Speed, which aren't always necessarily that common on the Dragonite, and he's not actually running it to go straight for that Dragon Claw, which is great for me because obviously I can now revenge kill him with my Landorus T. So I'm just going to sack my Rotom Wash, albeit I do in fact run E-Speed on mine. In my opinion, E-Speed is essential for Dragonite, but it seems like he's not running it and is most likely running Earthquake and Fire Punch along with Dragon Claw. So I can just go into my can just go for that Stone Edge and finally hit this one and take out his Dragonite, which is great. Bringing him down to his last two, his Magnetric and his Greninja, both of which my Landorus can take out with an EQ. So what I'm going to do is go straight out into my Heatran, and it is going to go for the Hidden Power, just play it safe at this point. And what I'm going to do is I believe I'll just go for a protect this following turn, just because I want to get a little bit more HP back to the point where I could potentially live 2 thunderbolts from this main net trick. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, is go for protect. Like I did mention, pretty confident I can definitely live 2 thunderbolts, not live 2 thunderbolts, but can potentially. I'm not sure on the damage, but either way I'm just going to go for the lava plume here. He's actually going to volt switch on out of there and go out into his Greninja, and I do in fact score a bird. Not going to matter too much in the long run, but either way what he's going to do now is I believe he's just going to go straight for the Hydro Pump, as I'm just going to go straight for the lava plume again. And it does go for Hydro Pump, it does land it, which is nice, and he actually scores a crit on this Hydro Pump. Not going to matter at all, I don't believe, especially in the long run, as I was just sacking my Heatran at this point just to get a free switch back into my my win condition, my Landorus. It is my final Pokemon at this point. I am Scarf. I should be able to outspeed the rest of his team and just clean up with Earthquake. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, is go straight for EQ. More than enough to take out the Greninja at this point. And his last is in fact Magnetric, which I should still be able to take out despite being at -1. But as you are going to see, this is where I made the mistake. His Magnetric is in fact going to outspeed, go straight for Hidden Power Ice and take me out. I actually brought the wrong Landorus. I have a different Landorus in my box that has exact same moves, but it's more an offensive pivot Landorus. But without Stealth Rock, when I partnered up with Heatran with Stealth Rock, I completely picked the wrong one. I was just looking at moves as opposed to stats. So I should have won the game. I should have been able to outspeed and just clinch that 1-0 victory. But unfortunately it wasn't going to be the case. But regardless, it's still definitely a very fun battle. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.